What's up, guys? It's the Chinnist. So today is February 10th, 3 days after New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 14 different titles. So sorry about missing this Wednesday. I was over in Galveston, Texas for a business convention. Picked up a few out-of-town hauls. I'm going to try to get that video out by next weekend. So yeah, kicking it off on the DC side, I picked up the cover D, which was Jim Lee. Number 5 actually came out last week, which is why it's back and boarded. But I'm trying to pick up all the Jim Lee covers for this title. If you're not picking up this title and you enjoy DC, you really need to pick it up. So continuing the DC run, we have Justice League. So man, love this title now. So it was picked up again by Priest. I forgot what his first name is, but switched over writers from Brian Hitch. Man, I really enjoyed this issue. I think this may have been one of my most favorite issue reads for this week, to tell you the truth. So a lot of stuff going on. Someone tried to frame Batman. There was a fan in the background, like an overzealous fan who tried to frame Batman in order to get closer to the Justice League. So this is kind of the aftermath. They're up in their they're up in their HQ observatory, and what's really cool is the Flash. He gets this little solo mission on the outside, and there's a lot of explanation, a lot of monologuing from the Flash side, but pretty cool explanation of the Speed Force and how it works in outer space. Man, I really enjoyed this issue. It was really good, guys. So yeah, Justice League. Okay, last up from DC, we have Young Monsters in Love. So this is like a little one-shot, kind of pricey. This was priced at $10. So these are, a collection of one-shots. Some of these stories are, like 5 pages long. Some are a little bit longer. Majority of these one-shots are very, very good. Of course, this kind of follows the February Valentine theme. So there's, every single short story based around love. So pretty cool. You see love from different perspectives. From the most of the villains that you may have read in the past. I think most of these villains hit pretty big titles, along the way. But good stuff. If you're looking for something a little bit different, if you like annual, one-off storylines, this is for you. Okay, swapping over on the Marvel sides, we have XMen Gold. Love all the X-Men titles out there right now. So XMen Gold, great team that was put together, in my opinion. I think maybe my favorite team that was assembled. But, they're back from the negative zone. This is the aftermath now. There's a little bit of a peak of what Mesmero was doing with the, trying to get together a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Pretty cool. So you see like the updated Avalanche, the updated Pyro. Very, very cool stuff, man. Mesmero, man, I have not read a storyline with Mesmero in a long time. I think the last thing I read, he still had that huge crown helmet that he wore. But man, this guy is very, very, sinister, very villainous, man. I really enjoy that this villain. Like, I really fell in love with him in this one issue. So yeah, if you're not picking up X-Men, XMen Gold is a great X-Men to pick up, in my opinion. Okay, so on that X-Men run, XMen Red. So this one's going to follow Jean Grey, who is the old Jean Grey, who's been resurrected a few times now. I think that at this point in time, I think she's died like 2 or 3 times, right? So this title, a little bit on the fence. I enjoyed this issue. This issue is really based around, humanity. So, you kind of start off with a very young mutant who's on the run, who's, there's a lynch mob. She's clearly going to get killed, and part of the lynch mob is actually her mom. Her mom is actually out to kill her because she's a mutant. So Jean Grey steps in, she has Kurt and the new Wolverine along with Honey Badger. So jump in, saves her. Jean Grey kind of takes the front for mutant humanity, I'll say. This is kind of like a front of, hey, mutants are getting attacked, they're getting slaughtered, at every nation, at every level, at various degrees. And, what can we do about this? So she's going to take the front for the mutant stand, a very, not professional, but a very political approach to ensuring that the mutants are safe going forward. So, I understand the concept of this title. I'm not sure if this title is going to cover only that. It seems, if it is only that, it could have been covered in one of the other X-Men titles, in my opinion. we'll see where this one goes. I'm currently subscribed to it. I'm going to see where this one goes. Again, I love all the other X-Men titles that are out there now. I'm hoping this one does not disappoint. But I did enjoy this one title so far. Okay, next up from Marvel, we have Infinity Countdown. So there's a few countdown. This is number 1. I think there's like 16 total, maybe. I think there's quite a few, maybe like 10 to 16, somewhere in there. This is pretty good, basis for, they're coming out with Infinity War, title that's going on in the comic book side of things. And this one kind of explains, if you never really knew who Adam Warlock was, this is like a quick rundown of who he is, who he was, how he came to be. Very, very good rundown. I've seen various things online like Comic Explained and Comic Island. So this is a pretty good rundown if you want to read through it yourself. And this kind of kicks off, it kind of changes time. So Kang is involved. You find out that he goes back and he changes time a little bit. So, so some huge cataclysmic event does not happen. So pretty cool stuff. I enjoy like the time loop stuff all the time, So, anything Infinity Gauntlet wise, anything regarding the stone, really want to get into. So yeah, very good issue to kick things off. All right, next up from Marvel, Star Wars. So I love Star Wars. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I loved all those other storylines that came out, Legends now at this point in time, and all the new canon that's out there now. Most of it, 90% of it, has been very entertaining, very interesting. And again, it's all canon, so, according to Disney, this all really happened. So, very good storyline here. They're up on the drill. They're stopping the drill now that the Imperials have. And they formed a new alliance for future space battles. I'll just kind of leave it at that. But, man, very interesting. Again, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should try to pick it up. Okay, moving over to Image, Extremity. Man, so I love this title. This is kind of like this heavy metal fantasy feel to it if you have not picked it up yet. It's not too far into it, only number 11, but, the trades out there, I would suggest to pick it up if you're into like, sci-fi fantasy is what this is. A lot of gruesome killing. Overall, I've kind of summed this up to where this is really a story of revenge. You have warring factions going after each other. A lot of big hits on each other throughout all these wars that are happening. So man, this is a huge culmination of this the peak of the war is kind of happening right now, where another big retaliation is going on right now. Great stuff, man. Great artwork, great gore, man. Great dialogue to go along with it as well. So yeah, check it out, Extremity. Next up from the Image side, Rock Candy Mountain. So this one ties up this entire series. I think this finishes off this title to my knowledge. It kind of seems at the very end like it could go on, but I think this title's done. I don't know, guys. If you know, comment down below. But I've really enjoyed Kyle Stark's. The artwork, I feel, most of the times it may be off-putting to a lot of people. You get past it really quick, with a good storyline. So this had a great storyline, great action, and great humor. And I love humor to go along with my action. This really had it. So, you have the final battle between the main hero going up against the devil. Very good battle that kind of occurs here. His friends kind of jump in to help out, and you kind of see what happens, like his ultimate sacrifice at the very end of this title. Great storyline, guys. Again, if you're looking for something a little bit different, check this one out. Rock Candy Mountain by Kyle Starks. Okay, we got a number 1 by Image. This is Versus. So pretty cool concept. They kind of, this has been done before, so this is kind of like a video game type of feel, to what's going on here. So you kind of have like, two worlds kind of going on. You kind of have like the Matrix, the real world, the controller of the player, and then you see the player within the, let's say, the video game world or some other realm. They haven't given away too much on the storyline here, but clearly you have that Matrix control feel to it. Pretty cool stuff. So you have, two teams that go against each other. You don't know what's fully at stake. Pretty good action all the way through. So you have like the storyline that's going on in the real world, as well as what's going on here. And they kind of show you the perspective of, how the game is played. You have fouls, you have players coming in and out, being substituted. Pretty cool stuff, man. So if you enjoy video games, futuristic type of storylines, check this one out, Versus. Alright, next up by Action Lab, the Harcourt Legacy. I actually did not, I thought I canceled my subscription. I had picked up 1 and 2, I canceled it, so I think this one actually concludes a storyline. So I went ahead and just, picked up the number 3. Read through it. I was not too much of a fan. Number 1 seemed a little bit promising, but, I can't really recommend this title overall. So you have this teenage girl, very angst type of teenage, a lot of anger kind of built up, woe is me type of female. She finds out that she has, powers, her grandfather had powers that could be passed on to her. This is kind of how she deals with it, but there's just so much dialogue in here. I just didn't find it too interesting, so not one that I would recommend. Alright, one I would recommend by Boom Studios, Mech, Cadet by Greg Pak. And man, I've come to find that I've enjoyed a lot of storylines by Greg Pak at this point in time. So yeah, Mech Cadet man, cool stuff. You have, a complete class of young kids who are the new cadets who have merged with these robots, and every few years you have these aliens come down which the robots have to defend off. The very end here, so you have the aliens who have actually invaded within the space. These are like little baby aliens who have invaded the human military base. And you come to find out at the end, like, all the mechs have been destroyed, and they're the very last line of defense for, like, Earth. So this sounds like it's going to be very, very good, going forward. There's going to be a lot of good battles going forward, but very, very action-packed, in my opinion. Man, Greg Pak has been knocking out of the park in this title. I love mechs, so I'm a little biased to the storylines, but man, this has been a very good, like, all-ages storyline, in my opinion. Okay, next up by Scout Comics, Smoketown. Man, great storyline. So I'm sure not many people are picking this one up. I've seen it in just a very few select YouTube videos online. But great storyline here. You have like a murder mystery that's kind of going on. It's all unfolded. They're letting the reader know what's going on, but the timeline is kind of like a Pulp Fiction. They kind of release the storyline in a certain sequence. But man, very good. It's kind of like all coming together at this point in time. You kind of see what's going on with the murder mystery and the after effects of the wife who was kind of beat up and what she went through. So yeah, very, very good stuff in my opinion. Great storyline, Smoketown. Okay, last up for you by Vault Comics, we have Songs for the Dead. It was kind of a slow week this week, so I was kind of looking for a different storyline. So I picked this one up, kind of flipped through it. I enjoyed the artwork. This is kind of like a Dragon Age feel to it. You have just at this time, I think they're going to introduce like the band that's going to go forward. But the main character right now is this girl here. I forgot what her name was, but she's a necromancer. The only magic that I've seen so far in here, this kind of has like a Dragon Age feel to this. And, so the storyline, I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up going forward. I think I may thumb through that number 2, but her powers are indeed pretty cool. At the very end, you kind of see, they start kind of killing some people, but as soon as someone's dead, she's able to kind of control them like right away. It's pretty cool how she does that. So yeah, I didn't think I would enjoy this one as much as I did, but yeah, if you're into like the dragon, fantasy type of storylines, looking for like a female cast, here you go. Guys, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Sorry it came in a few days late. I'm going to get out that back issue haul for you by next weekend, I'm hoping. So yeah, until then, should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.